Hey everybody, Pinstripe here. Well, wait, what's... Oh. He's just crashed. Is he gonna be okay? Is anyone gonna see if he's alright? No? Okay. Well, welcome everybody. We are here in the J7W Shinden fighter. This is the what-if scenario whereby the Manhattan Project has stalled and Japan has had a little bit more time to develop its interceptor fighter, as that is what we're going to be doing today, as there's going to be a whole host of aircraft that is indeed incoming. We're here over Kyushu, so it is still the home defense as the Americans are continuing their bombing campaigns with the B-29s, doing their usual thing, but no atomic bombs have been dropped, so Japan has not surrendered and instead has continued fighting onwards. And it's these kinds of scenarios that I enjoy the most, because they're just, it puts it to you, right? Just what if this thing happened? What if the war continued onwards? What if the US were also able to continue to develop their jet fighters as well? Because as you will be seeing, initially the B-29s are being escorted by P-80s. There's also going to be P-51s and just a lot of aircraft to deal with in this coming launch. So as we increase our speed and say goodbye to the other crash Shinden, that probably cost a lot of money by the way, it is finally time to take off. Some of you may recall the last time that we flew the Shinden. That wasn't with the aid of Track IR either, but we were able to muster up, I think, the highest total that I've ever shot down in a World War II engagement. It was something like 12 or 13 aerial victories, something insane. I mean, we do house those 4 30mm cannons, which allows us to come up against near enough any aircraft and have no issue whatsoever as far as damage is concerned. But the thing I like to, I guess, include in these what-if scenarios is how Japan must have been able, in this alternative universe, to iron out the issues with the Shinden. Because I'm pretty sure it only had 2 or 3 test flights in real life, and those housed some issues as well in relation to the overall design of the plane. For instance, the first takeoff, the nose rose too high, which caused damage to the rear fins, and those had wheels added to them as a fix. So with the B-29s directly below, all we gotta do is spin ourselves around and get onto their 6. Of course, keeping an eye out for the many guns that are housed on these flying fortresses, but I am really feeling confident in my approach here because I have the speed, I have the altitude, and these guys are currently in a turn, so they are not flying particularly fast at the moment. I've caught them at just the right time. I did cut out the majority of the boring stuff of the climbing to 7,000 meters, which is quite the trek, but in this interceptor you're going to have no problem whatsoever. I am single and alone, by the way. There's no one else with me. It's just me, myself, and I as we shoot down this first B-29. No issues covered there. Many a bullet coming my way as we fire on the second one, and I have to say that there's no greater feeling than seeing pieces of a B-29 falling off as you fire upon it and just reduce it to rubble. I mean, this third guy, he doesn't stand a chance. Just watch. Decimated. Now granted, this is also playing under the assumption that the Shinden at this point has extra ammunition, because I believe it was only 60 rounds per cannon with these 30mm, but yeah, at the moment I'm having no issue in smashing that damage into the back of these B-29s. More pieces falling off. This guy is all alone as well. It is quite literally a 1v1 here, and all I need to do is maintain the central position of my crosshair. You can see many a smoke trail. I'm actually then going to nose down a little bit, just keep myself slightly under the bomber, and the final burst itself will just wreak havoc as it rips off that right wing, and he is well and truly going down. So 4 bombers down in the space of barely 2 minutes, and yeah, just flying high right now here over Kyushu. My next thought was, of course, well, where are the fighters? And lo and behold, directly below me is a P-51 Mustang. He's going to be zooming up above, and this is where the true test really does come into play. A nice 1v1 fight over the open water, no bombers to be seen from here. We are now down to just under 2,500 meters, but altitude doesn't really matter. All I need to do is stay on this guy's 6 and ensure that I don't fall into the trap of always following him down when he's doing his old boom and zoom attacks, right? Because I want to be maintaining my altitude and sort of swinging myself around and up as he is going down, so that I can do the same thing and get into a better attacking position. Because you can see here, it would be so easy to nose down and follow, but I know that he's going to be coming back up again. So I'm just waiting for that moment. I'm keeping myself level, and as he comes up and loses his energy, all I need to do is just poke myself up a little bit. Again, the Shinden's ability to keep its energy, the energy retention of this aircraft is pretty impressive, if you ask me. And I almost got a few shots on there in that initial pass, but it's on this second one here that we do manage to score some hits, because you will see a small piece of the aircraft falling from the Mustang, and from here you can kind of gauge what might be happening, because as I check 6, he is going to be diving over here to the left, but it is going to fall into an uncontrollable dive. I'm assuming that maybe the G's or the damage dealt ends up being enough, because he is unable to pull out of this, and it ends up being another victory for me. So first fighter of the day down, and that makes me an ace in a day. 5 kills indeed confirmed. barely a couple of seconds after the previous engagement, we're going to come down from a little old loop-de-loop here as a second Challenger has approached us, and it is yet another P-51. I am getting kind of tired of the American tactics here, you know, the usual just zooming up into the sun. I'm not in the mood for it, so I'm going to make quick work, mincemeat of this Mustang here, just getting the neat old deflection shot, but sticky joystick, I have to say, my buttons, so I was firing for a little bit too long there, but disintegrated once more. The kill count continues to rise, as does my love for this aircraft. Now there is another Mustang on the horizon, who I'm going to be giving chase to in just a moment, but I do want to touch on sort of everyone's love for the Shinden, and I think it falls into that category of the unknown, of the question of what if, because in 1945 there were so many weird and wonderful prototypes that were being thrown around either on paper or being built that never made it into full production, that always kind of poses that question of, well, what if they did? What if they did make it into production, into the war, and we could have seen what they would have done? But I think that's what makes them so intriguing, is that unknown factor of how they would have performed, whether they would have been impactful. Of course, for Japan, it's kind of known that the Shinden wouldn't have been sort of the wonder machine to stop all of the insane industrial power of the American might that were the B-29s, the B-25s, 26s, 24s, just all the aircraft that they were producing. It was insane, the numbers that they were pumping out. So personally, I don't think it would have impacted that much, but as far as my cannons are concerned, this Mustang is definitely going to feel the impact of them in just a moment, because again, getting a nice little deflection shot, you can see he starts smoking and then finishing him off as he just gently falls down to the ground. So just on my way back to base, I do notice that there is a thick layer of cloud that has swept in from the Sea of Japan, which is not ideal, but it does provide me a little bit of cover, because I have noticed that there are some more bandits directly above. We get confirmation of that from our base's radar. There are 2 more bandits directly above me, so rather than charging straight at these Mustangs here, I'm going to use this cloud cover to my advantage and just kind of hop between them, because this is the part where I need to wait for these 2 aircraft to break apart before I then pick my target and try and shoot one of them down. Because, I mean, I could be that guy that rushes in and breaks them apart myself, but I'd rather kind of wait in the wings, as it were, for them to make their move, because they are here to make an attack run on our base. So all I need to do is wait for their focus to go to those targets before I can then swoop in and hopefully hit them from behind. So just using this cloud to my advantage, the last one I guess, as we then emerge behind these guys, maintaining my position on their 6, but I do hold the altitude advantage, so coming down to their level, I am going to be a little bit fast. So again, I'm just biding my time, using the Shinden's superior maneuverability in these kinds of positions to get into the right firing lane, as it were, because as I zoom in here, again, I am just coming in a little bit too fast. We do get a few shots off. They are on target, but I do end up overshooting. Despite the overshoot, it's not going to be too much of an issue because you can see that we do have the support of ground fire, which is always greatly appreciated, and it's the main reason why I was continuing to head back towards base for that very reason. And the damage that we dealt to that first Mustang seems to be enough as he slams into the ground, and that confirms our 8th kill of the day. Pretty damn insane. But no real time to think about it because you can see the other Mustang is swinging in angrily to try and get a few shots off. But thankfully for us, nothing is on target. Again, the AA fire below, I guess, is enough to ward him off the rest of his attack run. So all I need to do is continue to pursue him here. I mean, I can feel that my energy is running low. You can see that we're pushing just under 400 kilometers an hour. He is climbing. So this was very much a hit and hope. I just angled myself in the right way. I knew I had just enough energy to maintain this stand, I guess. Fired off a few shots, and it was just enough to take him down. Probably my best shot of the entire day. Deflection shot 101. I hope you guys enjoyed that one, because I certainly did, and that confirms our 9th kill of the day. You know you're having a bit of trouble when your landing gear comes out as your plane free falls to the ground, but yeah, honestly, the Shinden's ability to just hang in the air is honestly superior to a lot of the fighters that I have flown in the past. But all we need to do now to finish off this wonderful mission is indeed to ace the landing, and I guess knowing beforehand how expensive it must have been to produce these aircraft, you always approach the landing with a little bit of tentativeness, you know, trying to just come in nice and gentle, trying to disperse the speed that you have, and I use sort of every stretch of the runway that I possibly could use in order to do that successfully. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. It was certainly a whole bundle of fun doing these what-if scenarios. I do have plenty more of them planned, including some others that I put together myself. You know, the full mission builder is a wonderful tool, and I will certainly be putting it through its paces in future. But here we have the confirmation of those 9 aerial victories. Pretty damn insane, but yeah, I will be continuing these in future. So let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later for the next one.